it was the most natural thing for me to say. I can't be Hugo's wife. Don't be so ridiculous. I'm a lesbian. I knew that it was empty. It was just so light. And I went to get the one with the shield in, and I just thought, that's cheating.
For an institution like the Metropolitan Police, how was it navigating that as a lesbian?
Right. This is always a difficult question. It was difficult. I think that I've spent 30 years doing and being all the things that I've been to come to this point to do what I was meant to do in life.
Hello and welcome back to the queerest podcast telling the fiercest stories. This is Queer Talker. I'm Ben Cicchetti, and this week I am joined by the icon of Traitors Season 4, Amanda Collier. Amanda, welcome to Queer Talker.
Hi, Ben. How you doing? Fantastic to be here. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm so excited you're here. You are such an incredible character on The Traitors, and The Traitors is a show that myself and my husband are just obsessed with, as is most of the nation. Yeah. So I know we've got a lot to cover off. But we will start with our Queer Panic game. Rapid fire questions. You just respond with the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay,
starting with, what was the first album you ever owned?
I remember this distinctly because I must have played one song on it. They're called double or double or double. They were like two guys, and they sang a song called "The Captain of Her Heart." And this was like, I was really young, probably about 14, I think. And it was their album was called Blue, and it was the first album I bought, and I just thought it was amazing. But if anyone listens to "The Captain of the Heart," that is me. I am all heart and soft and emotional. And that record is, I wasn't listening to pop or, any of those things. I was listening to like mellow music that told stories. And that is me.
I love that.
That is me.
I'm going to go and listen to it as soon as we finish recording now.
Yeah.
Speaking of music, if you had to lip sync for your life, Drag Race style, what song would you choose?
Pink, Raise Your Glass.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That's such a vibe.
I love that song. I love that song.
What is your favorite queer movie or TV show?
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Yeah. Brilliant.
Amazing.
Absolutely superb film. Everybody's got to see it, gay or not.
Yeah, it's just got to be on required watch lists, as they would say.
Beautiful, beautiful film.
Yeah. Who is your ultimate queer icon?
George Michael. I don't even have to think about it. I love him. I've loved him. I wanted to marry him, even though I'm gay. Bless him.
Okay. Well, who is one person you would like to hear on this podcast?
So I have met a lot of people, a lot of gay people since the show. But one person that stands out for me is, I don't know if you might have had her actually on the show, on the podcast. Her name's Faye from series 1.
Yes, I haven't, but I've met her a few events.
Right. Okay. So she is she's a beautiful, wonderful person who has basically been on the first series and everything that comes with it before it's been honed and before all the support. And, she's had to put up with a lot, but she's doing some great work. And I just think she's she's a lovely person to have a chat with. I could say someone from my group, Hugo. Hugo's not gay, but he's just a real character.
Yeah.
I'd say Stephen and Matt, but good luck trying to get them on this podcast. Good luck.
Okay, well, I love that. I will definitely be sliding into Faye's DMs to get her on the podcast. It's been a long time coming, so we're going to make that happen.
Okay.
And then finally, what is one word you would use to describe your childhood?
Frenetic. So that means it was crazy. I was one of 6 kids, very poor household, but nothing bad ever happened to me. Do you know what I mean? I was a happy kid with nothing. I was into every sport, running around trying to look after my siblings, trying to get a Saturday job, trying to earn some money, trying to cope with being bullied at school. Frenetic.
Yeah.
That's the word I would use. Yeah.
And what do you think? Long term listeners know I have this kind of theory that to understand an LGBTQ plus person as an adult, you kind of have to
Yeah.
understand them as a young person. In that
Absolutely.
context, what should I know about you as a child or a teenager to understand, the Amanda that sits in front of me today?
So I had a really tough childhood. I come from a very poor background with, 5 siblings. Sadly, I have 4 sisters now, and I did have my brother Jason. Unfortunately, he passed away sadly in 2011 from a heart condition. So I was tough. I I, I was a tough kid, you know.
Mhm.
Being bullied, um, it made me a really fast runner to run away. Honestly, I used to run away from the bullies quite a lot, um, but and I'm still a fast runner. But I think in my childhood, it was tough. I'm talking food, clothes. So, but the person that you are inside, that doesn't change. I was born. My dad, bless him, he's passed away. A couple of years ago, 3 years ago. He was one of the kindest people, a beautiful, beautiful man who absolutely loved his children and wanted the best for
Yeah.
his children. But he had no ambition. He just wanted to make sure that his kids were fed and watered, and that's it. But I am my dad, and my kindness comes from him.
Yeah.
So I was tough, a tough little street kid who has got a heart of gold, and that's probably me in a nutshell. Yeah,
And then in that experience, growing up in that environment, do you remember the first LGBTQ plus person? You mentioned obviously George Michael. Do you remember
yeah.
the first LGBTQ plus person you just kind of became aware of? And then either through real life or in media, like how did that feel to you having that exposure?
So I was a tomboy, funnily enough, and I remember uh, when I was a kid watching a film with Jodie Foster in it, and I think it was Freaky Friday, and she was a tomboy, but really like there was something about her charismatic, and she's one of my favorite actresses. And I looked at her on the screen and just thought, she's brilliant. She's
Yeah.
just a brilliant person, and she's so young. And look how well she's acting. I mean, I didn't think like that because I was a child myself, but I knew there was something magical about her that made me feel. And again, I didn't realize I was gay because in the 70s, when I grew up, being gay just was not an option.
Yeah.
It just wasn't. So, if you suppress something long enough, you'll just carry on in your life, and never bring it up. It's never brought up. So I used to want to play with the boys, football, Kirby. We used to play Kirby, but I never wanted to be a girlfriend. I
Yeah.
I just thought that was part of me because I was a sporty person and I wanted to play every single sport for England, you know, when I was a kid. So yeah, yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say.
But
Yeah.
I'm curious then, because obviously, you went on to spend 3 decades in the Metropolitan Police,
Yeah.
eventually becoming Detective Chief Inspector.
Yeah.
I'm curious what in your childhood might have led to that. You mentioned being bullied, you mentioned
Yeah,
feeling tough, you mentioned feeling that you could outrun the bullies. Do you
yeah,
think becoming or getting into the police force was something you always wanted to do from a young age? And then I'm also curious, obviously what you've just mentioned, growing up through the 70s into the 80s, like what was it like navigating that kind of institution as
yeah.
a lesbian in that era?
Yes. So I've never really told this story. So back in the day, when you were 14, 15, you went on what they call work experience.
Yeah.
So you'd go to a shop or you'd go and work in a bank or whatever. So at the age of 14, I said, I think I was 15. I want to go and work in a police station for 2 weeks. So then everybody thought, oh, I don't want to go and work in Woolworths. I want to go and work in a police station. So at school, we had to have a competition. So we had to write an essay about why we wanted to go into the police for a couple of weeks. And I won. I was going to be an English teacher if I wasn't a police officer. And so I won the competition and I went to Bolton Central Police Station for 2 weeks. And I just thought it was fantastic. And I saw a side to the police, obviously because of my age, that all they were doing was they were just helping people,
Mm.
catching the bad guys, helping people, and just doing good. And I loved it. So I, but then because of my working class background, my parents wanted me to get a job straight away as soon as I left school. So the police thing went on the back burner. And so I got a job working for a magazine. Eventually, so that was in Bolton, and eventually I moved to London when I was like about 18, I think. And this is a true story. This is a true story. So when I think I was about 21, I was with my flatmate and I just didn't like being working for this magazine anymore. So me and my flatmate sat with a bottle of wine and I said, I don't know what to do. And she said, let's go through the alphabet. This is absolutely true. And she was like, A, B, baker. I was like, no, they get up too early. C, like chef. Oh no, that's too hot. And blah, 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 blah. P, policewoman. I am not joking you. She turned around to me. She goes, oh yes. What colour's their uniform? I said, oh, I think it's like a really dark blue. And
Yeah.
he goes, I can see you in dark blue. I can see you in dark. And that was it. 2 years later, I went to Hendon Training College to be a police officer. That's it.
That's incredible.
That's exactly. It's a weird, wonderful. It was all. I was always meant. I think I was always meant to be a police officer. I
Yeah.
think it was meant to be some kind of public servant to help people. I said it a lot on the Traitors. I just want to help. I just want to help. Anyway,
And then obviously you had that incredible journey. And what was that like, obviously discovering yourself? You mentioned you didn't know you were gay. And then
yeah.
obviously at a certain point you must have discovered that you were. What was that like for an institution like the Metropolitan Police? How
Okay.
was it navigating that as a lesbian?
Right. This is always a difficult question, and I've answered this question a few times. It was difficult. In the
Yeah.
early 90s was so difficult to be a gay woman in the Metropolitan Police. Really hard. I was homophobically bullied, but I'm going to stress that I was homophobically bullied by a very small minority of people.
Yeah.
And I met someone, I was about 5 years into my career and I wanted to leave. I was going to leave. I couldn't cope with it anymore. And I met someone who basically, she was my mentor. She was a gay woman and she was my mentor. And she said to me, if you are the best, if you just come to work every day, just doing the best that you possibly can, the tide will turn.
Mm.
And you will find your tribe and people will follow you because deep down we all just want to do a good job. And that is exactly what happened. She took me under her wing. She taught me everything that she knew about policing. She was a very credible, intelligent lady who, you know, took me under her wing. So I navigated through the bad times by finding the people that wanted to just do a good job. Gay, straight, black, white, just want to do a good job. The fact that I was gay was just part and parcel of being me. And
Yeah.
that's, if people accept you for, that's just Amanda. Amanda's a gay woman. It's, you know. So I navigated through. Eventually, I got a reputation for being quite a good police officer. So my tribe just got bigger, and I felt comfortable in this bubble of people. They weren't all gay. There's a couple of gay people, but they were they liked to be in my gang, and I liked to be in their gang, because
Yeah.
together we did a good job, and that's what we got praised for doing a good job. Eventually, I became the boss of some of the people that bullied me, which could have been awkward, but I was and am really professional. And I was really, really professional. There was one particular incident where I got invited to meet the head of a murder squad, and he basically said, "I want you to come and work on my team." And I'll cut a very long story short. There was someone on his team who bullied me, and at the time, I couldn't. I just felt that I wasn't strong enough to deal with a new job, an important job on a murder squad, and deal with this person.
Yeah.
So I turned it down. And then I realized that the value of being, you know, good at your job was that that person said, "What? Why won't you come and join my team?" And I said, "No, you know." And he found out,
Yeah.
and he basically said, "I will make it work for you because I want you to come onto my squad." I never did. I never did. Eventually, I joined a murder squad, but sometimes you can't fight every single battle. You know, there's the saying, isn't there? Um, you know, choose your battles to try and
Yeah.
win the war. Um, that was one battle that I wasn't prepared to take on. So yeah, I didn't, basically. But I think my life as the 30 years in the police has prepared me for what I'm now doing. I
Mm.
find it incredibly not easy. I have to work at it, but I find it incredibly comfortable to sit and talk to people, to stand up in front of hundreds and hundreds of people and talk about a subject, or to have a conversation like we're having. I find it really, it's comfortable. It's comfortable. I get nervous. Of course I get nervous. My first public speaking was, a few months ago, and I couldn't believe how many people were in the room, but I got up and did it, and I thought, "Wow, I love this." But it's giving that message out as well. I'm going off a tangent at the moment, but yeah, I was sending out a message about what made me me, and, you know, tough on the inside, sorry, soft on the inside, tough on the outside. But if you know me as a person, you know what kind of person I am. The softest, you know, I cried at Bambi. Come on. Yeah. But resilient, you know, resilient.
Yeah.
Yeah, resilience is probably the right word. I've had a lot of downs when it comes to up and down, but no more than anyone else. And you find ways to cope, and I found ways to cope. Um, and in the late 90s, I eventually became super comfortable with being a gay woman. Very, very comfortable. Not showy off, not hey, look at me. I just wanted to get on with my job. And sometimes I remember someone saying to me once, um, you're such, what did she say? I mean, I used to look up to her because she was when I was a constable, she was my sergeant.
Mm.
And she said to me one day, she said, "You are such a brilliant role model." And I said, "Okay, why is that?" She said, "Well, because," I think she's trying to give me a compliment. "Well, because you're gay and you're just normal."
Yeah.
It's like a sort of backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the word normal is probably not the word I'd use, but the the word I would use is I was just me.
Yeah.
I was just
Authentic.
authentic, absolutely authentic. What you see is what you get. Um, when you're happy to talk about your partner, um, in a work environment, I think that's one of the big stepping stones to comfort, and really mean it. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, so I didn't really. I was having a lovely time. Don't get me wrong. When you're in your 20s, girlfriends come and go. You're trying to find yourself. Um, and I had ups and downs, but I didn't meet my wife Caroline till I was like 42, 42.
Mm.
I just met at the right time, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess when did you feel that authenticity though? 'Cause I guess in that journey, was there a moment when you realized, I think there's two stages, right? One is when you feel authentic in yourself, and then there's this other stage when you, to your point, you can just bring that to everything. Everything you do, you're happy to just be yourself. When did you feel that switch of, I'm not just authentic in myself, I'm just going to bring it to everything?
I would say I was about 27, so quite late. Um, I just remember being comfortable in my job,
Yeah.
comfortable with the people around me, cocooned in like a cocoon of niceness. And once you've got this, once you've got all these things aligned, and it wasn't like, right, today I'm going to be, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't wake up and think, right, it was a gradual thing. And I remember people saying to me, "Oh, you're gay. You don't look gay." Or,
Yeah.
"Oh God, yeah, I definitely guessed you were gay." I used to get all that, especially at parties, like police parties and stuff like that. And I'd go, "Yeah, I know. I'm gay. Yeah, it's fine." And I used to get the bloke saying things like, "Oh God, it's such a shame." I go, "Yeah, I know. I know. Never mind." But, like, I saw the fun side, eventually, the fun side of being gay. Gay people are fun, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody
100%.
wants to go to a gay party, don't they?
Yeah.
Um, honestly, just like, I was just seen as this fun thing, and all the other gay, people around me, we were just, like, joyous, you
Yeah.
know? And, yeah, I eventually got the fun side of me because I was comfortable with everything that I had, around me. So, yeah, it was a gradual thing, but it was very, for me, quite late, quite late.
Yeah. I saw a phrase the other day which was like, being gay isn't hard, straight people just make it hard. And I think that's such a good way to look at it. Being gay
I
isn't hard.
saw
We're
that the other
fabulous. We're
day.
so fun.
I know. I saw that yesterday. I can't remember where I
Somebody
saw
must have
it.
posted
It
it. I
it
can't
must have
think who
been
now.
it must have been on social media. It was somewhere, but I saw that. Um, I've got post-menopause brain, so I forget things. But yeah, it's true. It's
Yeah.
absolutely true. And why? I don't get it.
No.
I don't encroach on anyone else's lives. I just accept, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I'll find that meme and I'll post it so that everyone can see it as well.
Yes.
Obviously, we have to talk about the Traitors. As I said,
Yes.
I'm obsessed. My husband's obsessed. We've been obsessed
Mm.
since the first season, all the way through to the most recent. Talk me through entering that show. Like, what made you want to enter the show? And then I'm just curious, like, what the process was of going through to getting selected
Yeah.
and then turning up at the castle in Scotland.
Okay. So I'm going to keep this as short as I can. So I applied for series 3
Okay.
and so I went through all the processes, and it is a huge process. Lots and
Yeah.
lots and lots of tests along the way. Lots and lots of in front of the cameras, in front of not famous people, in front of important people from the BBC, how you react to rejection, all that. And then this heart issue came into it.
Yeah.
And a doctor wanted me to have a CT scan, and I couldn't get it done in time. So I know that I got really close to series
Mm,
3, to getting on series 3, and I didn't get on. And I thought, you know what? I desperately want to get on this show, because I thought that my skill set would be perfect for it. And I eventually, I pestered them, and they called me back, and we went through the whole process again, and I eventually got on the show. What I can say is that my character and my experience was the biggest hindrance going on the show. Honestly, all my traits are
mm,
everything that you have to curtail. So I'm talkative.
yeah.
Uh, I'm kind. I want to connect people. I like to communicate. I like to work things out. I'm competitive. Oh, I know this. I know this. I know this.
Yeah.
I know who's a traitor. I know Stephen's a traitor. I'm not gonna hide it. I'm just gonna go and help people because I know that that in my head. What happened day one? That is all
Yeah.
that happened in day one. Straight away, as soon as I got to the round table, I walked out of the round table, and people said to me, "Oh my God, you're so confident." And I'm thinking, no,
Yeah.
no, because I wasn't phased by the round table. It was just like a meeting to me.
Yeah.
I was nervous, and when I get nervous, I talk a lot. So, and being a detective and not telling anyone, it was just, everything was just so, so hard,
Mm,
and I've just got all the traits, all the traits. And the casting people, they knew that.
yeah.
They know that. They didn't sit me opposite Rachel and Jade next to each other. That was strategic.
Yeah.
That was absolutely I remember saying at the round table, you are sat next to the person for a reason. I'm not
That's
randomly
so
sat
true.
here.
I'd never thought about it, but you're so right. They would, of course, they would set things up in a certain dynamic because that's then where you sit every roundtable, right? So they're
Yeah.
setting things up in
Yeah.
a dynamic.
Yeah. I mean, I had James, ADHD James, on my left and Jack, ADHD, on my right. This is my opinion. No one's told me this. No one from studio or BBC have told me this. But I think I was put there to keep them calm because I
Mm,
I the older, the older
mother
head,
figure.
mother figure. I must have grabbed their knees m- underneath the table so much. But I knew, I thought I was gone first day. But I went to my room and I was packing my bags, and the welfare team, they check on you. Brilliant welfare team, by the way. Um, they said, "Why are you packing your bags?" And I said, "Because Stephen knows that I think he's a traitor. I
Yeah.
know I know he's a traitor." And they said, "Okay." And I said, "So he's going to murder me tonight." I didn't know about Fiona, the secret. So I said, "He's going to murder me. So I don't want you picking up my dirty washing. So I'll pack myself." Meantime, Stephen's in his room, packing his bags, and the welfare team are going, "Stephen, what are you doing?" He's like, "She knows I'm a traitor. I'm rubbish. I knows I'm a traitor." I'm going to pack my bags because because he thought that I had the charisma and the backing of the people at the round table to
Yeah.
get him finished like day 2.
Yeah.
But what you don't realize about the show is that to banish someone, doesn't matter how sure you are, you've got to convince 21 other, well, yeah, 20 other people
Yeah.
that you're right. Even if you're not right, you've
Yeah.
still got to convince them. And the that takes time. That takes time. And even when you watch the show and you see like Harriet, nobody voted for Rachel. And Harriet was
Yeah.
spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. And you think, what? She's spot on. Um It's harder to play it than it is to just watch it, I can assure.
Yeah, I can imagine because as a viewer, there's a couple of things. One is it feels like at times they get very, very close to a traitor, and then
Oh,
suddenly the next day that person's just forgotten and they've gone on to
yes.
someone else. And you're
Shall I tell
like,
you what
how
it is,
did that
Ben?
happen?
Sorry to interrupt, but I'll tell you what it is before I forget. You have these moments. I had loads where I
Yeah.
go, and you're like, join, 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 join. Yeah, that's not right. That's not right. Oh, forget about that one.
Mm,
I nearly touched Rachel's hand. She told me this afterwards when she had red ink or whatever, red
yeah.
on her finger. You know, when she did because I'm a touchy feely person, and she was my bestie in the castle.
Yeah.
And she went out. I remember her glass of wine was nearly full, but she said, "Oh, I've just got to go and get some more wine before they, whatever." And and my brain went, that's a bit weird. Her glass is nearly full, but you make excuses.
Yeah.
You literally make it. You go, "Oh yeah, but she just wants to top it up, so it's fine."
Yeah.
And we talk about these things. Obviously, the cast talk about these things afterwards. How close I was so close to saying Stephen's name at the episode 4. Jessie was on a roll. She was getting it, getting it, getting it, and I'm like, yeah, she's right. She's right. I'm gonna chip in. And then Scaredy Pants went,
Mm,
Jay. I was so close to saying his name, and I can't remember what the voting how many votes he got, but I think he was so
yeah.
close. And if only.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think things are meant to be. I genuinely think that things are meant to be as they are meant to be. I met Rachel in Ireland last year, and I was very sad at the way I went out and that I didn't, because I wanted to win.
Yeah.
And she it's very philosophical, and she said these things it's all meant. You were meant to tell me. You were meant to go out in episode 5. I was meant to have that big ding dong with Fiona, and then Harriet, and then this, and then that, and all that series of events would not have happened had I not told Rachel. And what led up to me telling Rachel is another long story, but I was working out the odds, and I got it right. I did get it right. The odds were stacked against me, and I just wanted to, yeah, I confused them because I panicked.
Yeah.
I panicked. So, and that's what got me. Because still people didn't vote for me. I really confused them, and they were like, "Oh, okay." And I still got the chest of chance.
Yes.
So
And that's the thing. It literally just came down to a 50-50 at that point, right? Like it wasn't that you didn't get the majority believing you were a traitor. It came down to a very, very close kind of, as you say, the
and
chest.
thing as well, I could have cheated and stayed in. So in the show, uh, Claudia comes up with 2 boxes, and you don't see this, but you see me go like this on the show. You see me go, oh, like this. But 30 seconds before, I ever so slightly touched the box that was empty.
Right.
I knew that it was empty. It was just so light. And I went to get the one with the shield in, and I just thought, that's cheating. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I couldn't even do it. It's down the show. They probably would have murdered me that night anyway. So, so I literally picked the box up, put it down, turned to Jack, and turned to Jack and James. And I said, I'm going home. It's empty. I'll see you on the other side. We'll have a pint. So yeah.
But you also you had so many iconic moments. One while you were there, and actually one while you weren't there, which was you dropped this grenade of I'm a police detective to Rachel, and then chaos ensued. But you also had, I think it was maybe one of the first roundtables, you had this iconic moment where I think people were questioning whether you were in a relationship with Hugo, and you're like, actually, I'm a lesbian. How did it feel to watch that become such a defining moment? And also, I guess it's the feeling of people celebrating you. That became such a queer moment for so many of us.
I am not joking when I say this, Ben. My phone blew up when that
I bet.
was on the TV. And I didn't realize the magnitude of what I'd said, because for me, I was getting myself out of a sticky situation, and it was the most natural thing for me to say. I can't be Hugo's wife. Don't be so ridiculous. I'm a lesbian.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how I said it. And, I think Adam said something to me, and he was like, oh, okay. Because he challenged me about something. But I was really under the cosh then. I had a lot of people going, hmm. And I just thought, what can I say? And it just came so naturally. And when it was aired on TV, my phone just went mad. But the defining thing about that moment is the amount of people that said thank you.
Yeah.
That said thank you for saying what you said in the way that you said it. People still come up to me on the street and they say, my daughter or my son is gay, and you made them feel that it's okay. How amazing is that?
Mm.
How absolutely amazing is that? I don't have, 500,000 followers like Stephen.
Yeah.
But I have this little platform that I've been given to support, to help. I couldn't answer everybody at the time. I was literally getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages. And I go back every now and then when I've got 10 minutes and I think, oh gosh, I didn't message this person back from February. I will eventually get through everything. But it was such a defining moment, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. I would do it again. And if there's anyone out there that's struggling, give me a message. I,
Yeah.
I get people who say, "Oh my God, Amanda answered my message." Yeah, of course I did. Of course I did. At first, my wife said, "You can't," because I used to sit up till 3 a.m, like, "Hi, thanks for your message. Really appreciate it." She said, "You can't. You'll die, or your thumbs will fall
Yeah.
off." Something. So she said, "Just put a heart that you've read it, and then
Yeah.
revisit it." My wife is just she would have. Well, I think she would have smashed it. She's much better than me. She is. She's much better than me. Um, but yeah, it was an amazing electric time, and I am now passing that message on. So I
Yeah.
get contacted by so many different people. I'm doing a hosting event for kids with cancer in October, and it's not because I only got to episode 5. I think people can see what kind of person I am, my character. I'm quite confident in front of people, but my kindness
Yeah.
and me being open to helping people. So these kids, we go from that to I'm doing an advert for. I'm doing a video with Sally Gunnell tomorrow for the British Heart Foundation
That's
to
amazing.
get women over 45 to do to do weights to do weights.
Yeah.
I'm going to a premiere tonight. I just like my life is like, but it's brilliant because look at all the people. Every time someone comes up to me, I was in a bar in Brighton on Saturday at a leaving do. Because I don't go out that much actually. I don't. Um, um, the amount of people that came up to me and were like, "Oh my God, it's Amanda from the Traitors. Can we have a photo?" You make their day. And I
Yeah.
go, "Yeah, yeah, of course, of course, of course." I met so many wonderful people on Saturday, and every time I meet someone, they're so lovely. So, so lovely, and thank you. Apart from the woman that I met in Sainsbury's, I'd just come back from my allotment and I didn't look at my best.
But that's such the joy and the amazing thing about a show like The Traitors. Like it is, it's probably one of, if not the biggest show in the UK at the moment,
Yeah,
and it gives such incredible representation. To your point, to people who haven't always seen people that look like them, love like them, sound like them
yeah,
on TV. So I guess for you, and you said it earlier, actually, when you were in the police force, someone said you're such a good role model, and I'm just
yeah,
wondering what it's meant for you coming out of that and now being that role model and being that inspiration for people who maybe haven't seen anyone like them before.
yeah. That's a really good point. I think that I've spent 30 years doing and being all the things that I've been to come to this point to do what I was meant to do in life, which
Yeah.
is this, which
Yeah.
is to spread the word, to help people, to support charities. Um, Rachel said it like so well when I went to visit her last year. She said, all the things that you are all the things that will give you the credence to be able to do what you're going to do, which is help, support,
Yeah.
be kind. I go into schools and I talk to kids about being kind and about trust and about being different as well. It's okay to be different. So I am very privileged. I am so privileged to be in this position. I think if I'd have won, I probably would have not coped with it. I think, um, which is why I look at going out the way I did, being as I was, um, you know, just being me on the show for only 5 episodes. Fiona not putting me on the murder list. It's all like
Yeah.
it's just meant to be like this, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel very, very privileged and honored really to be in the position that I'm in. Because what more is there in life than to be kind and to make people happy and to talk to people if I can, like talk to people or to make people feel a little bit better. It's such a gorgeous feeling, such a
Yeah.
wonderful feeling. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I had a bit of a wobble a few months ago. I was just saying yes to too many things. I got really ill and I just kept I got ill several times and now yeah, I, d- I, I say yes to the things that are important to me.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what's incredible is it's not just obviously the LGBTQ plus community you've been such an incredible kind of role model and inspiration to. Obviously, you mentioned earlier when going through the medical checks for the traitors,
Yeah.
they revealed a serious hereditary heart disease. And obviously, despite being incredibly fit and young and feeling healthy, I'm just
Young
wondering,
then. Thank you for that.
young. But I think that's important, right? Because you are able to bring that message as well. And you talked about this advert
Yeah.
you're doing where it's all about kind of like protecting your heart. I guess that's the other part I'm curious about. How did going through the show, going through that diagnosis change your relationship with your body and with your future? And then how you could use that kind of through this kind of unexpected platform that you had?
So I'm going to try really hard not to shed a tear. I get quite emotional when I talk about this. I was and am a fearless person. I've done crazy things like don't train for a marathon and run a marathon and just crazy stuff. And I took for granted that I'm a fit, healthy person. I've never had any symptoms or signs that anything's wrong with me. And you go through your life going, yeah, I could do anything. And
Yeah.
then when someone says, you you can't do everything because this is what could happen. And you're going to be on these drugs for the rest of your life. Um, Very sobering. I've changed my life. Not massively, but I'm not as competitive. I don't have to be first all the time. Just being in the moment. I go to my gym classes. I do outdoor fitness, and I do these HIIT classes, and I find myself stopping instead of pushing to the point of I feel sick. I
Yeah.
stop and think, take a breath,
Yeah.
keep your heart rate low. So I think about that. All the drugs that I'm on now, I took really badly. My cardiologist is actually someone that I meet quite frequently because he's a friend of a friend. So I go to parties and stuff like that, and I try not to talk about my heart to him because it's he's off, he's not at work.
Yeah.
But I'm doing the Great North Run in September for charity for the British Heart Foundation and for Sussex Beacon, which is a HIV related charity in Sussex. And I said, can I sent him a message, can I do the Great North Run? He sent me this huge message back saying, you can, but you must, and he just basically gave me all, stay hydrated, don't let your heart rate go above this. If you feel da 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 da. P.S. Unfortunately, someone dies at these events. Bear that in mind. You've got a serious heart condition. Take it easy. You don't need to win everything.
Yeah.
So it's made me, I think a lot more about the people around me. I think a lot more about when I found out the amount of people that text me saying, or I met, and they'd say, yeah, my next door neighbor was just mowing the lawn, had a heart attack and died. Uh,
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
I am going to do an advert for a DFib, for a personalized DFib, and I think that's the way we're going. So I want to spread the message about if someone has a heart attack or a stroke, which are very different, what you can do to save them or to save yourself.
Yeah.
Not the healthy lifestyle things, but the practical things as well. So spreading the message. I'm not a keep fit fanatic. I'm not a keep fit fanatic because I don't just go for the fitness. I go for the mental health as well.
Yeah.
And that for me is, being in that community is really, really important. So mental health for me is as well as, staying fit. I'm not ripped. I'm meeting Sally Gunnell tomorrow. And I said to my friend, I'm gonna wear a long sleeve shirt and long pants and, because she is wonderful, ripped,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
ripped. I'm fit. I'm healthy. But
Yeah.
I'm not obsessed. It's not an obsession. It's something that I like to do. And, I've just spent a month in my camper van in France and there's no gym there. I didn't go to a gym. I went on my bike. We kept saying, oh, we'll run today. No, I'm
Yeah.
not. It was too hot.
Yeah. But it
Yeah.
all comes back to this idea of, something I think you said, Rachel said, which was, all these things happen for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Like, had you not gone through that experience of season 3, going
Yeah.
through all those checks, when would that have become a diagnosed and would you have had awareness for it? Had you not
Yeah.
gone through what you went through at the start of season 4, would you have sat there at a table and said, actually, I'm a lesbian? Like, would those moments have happened? And would you
No.
now be able to not only raise awareness for the LGBTQ community, but also raise awareness around heart disease and being fit and so on and so forth? Like that really does speak to a sequence of events happening
Yeah.
that were meant to happen, right?
So yeah, Rachel, she pointed it out to me because I was very sad.
Mm,
Even in the summer, like a couple of months or a few months later, I said, oh, you know, and she pointed all those things out to me. And she made me realize that, she sort of said, do I believe in stuff like that? It's weird, but it's what are the chances of all these things say in that sequence that they did, and to have the platform and to have the heart diagnosis and to get on one of the biggest shows on the planet. Yeah, it's there's a part of me that thinks this is just meant. It's just meant to happen.
Yeah. I love that. And you're doing incredible things. Like, as I say, we've crossed paths a couple of times now. And I just think what you do
Yeah.
and the awareness you bring, and you bring such a warmth to everything you say, and you bring such a sense
Oh,
of
thanks, Ben.
community and belonging, and you make people feel comfortable around you, which I think is such an incredible
Yeah.
kind of ability to have.
Thank
We
you.
obviously started this conversation talking about your younger self. So I kind of
Yeah.
want to end talking about your younger self. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be? And would it be different if I just said, what advice would you offer to a young LGBTQ plus person today in 2026?
Wow. So I can only go by my personal experience. So I think if I was going to give first of all, give a piece of advice to my younger self is don't be so hard on yourself. It's okay to get things wrong, and it's okay to make mistakes. Because those mistakes, without being too deep, those mistakes will make you and develop you into the person that you are. And you will accept that not everybody is perfect. Social media makes you look like you're perfect. Nobody's perfect. So don't be hard on yourself. The queer person, if I realized that I was gay or if I had the opportunity to develop as a gay person from a very young age, again, I probably would say to myself, find your people. I think I've said this before. People will gravitate towards you. They will. They will.
Yeah.
If you exude who you are, and people will naturally want to come towards you. But keep the people close that make you feel amazing about yourself, and vice versa, and do it with such a, what's the word? Aplomb. They just do it without even thinking about it. So that if you told them that you're gay, or you didn't tell them that you're gay, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Those are the people that matter. So if there's someone out there that you think you're friends with, but they don't make you feel as comfortable, they're not your tribe.
That's great advice. Find your tribe. That's great advice.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic advice.
Yeah.
Look, Amanda, thank you so much for coming on to Queer Talker. As I said, I'm a huge fan of the show. I was a huge fan of you through season 4. I thought your representation was amazing. I think everything you're doing since you came off the Traitors is as important, if not more important, than being on the show itself. Like, I think you're bringing such warmth and awareness to everything you're doing. So thank you so much for being on Queer Talker. And also, everyone keeps telling me I should apply for the Traitors. So one day I'm going to call you up and ask your advice. So that may come your way one day.
It's a tough gig, I can tell you.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm up for it, but we'll see.